6th of February 2026. Over the past 4 days, this program has served as a vibrant academic space where ideas, insights, and scholarly perspectives on IKS were explored with depth and clarity. A reflection of so before we proceed with the formal agenda of the fifth day program, let us take a moment to reflect on this a remarkable journey. And throughout the FDP, participants participants were introduced to diverse dimensions of IKS research methodologies rooted in indigenous wisdom, interdisciplinary approaches, and contemporary research practices aligned with traditional epistemologies. The sessions were thought-provoking, interactive, and deeply insightful, enabling participants to connect with India's rich intellectual heritage while envisioning its relevance in modern research paradigms. The enthusiastic participations of faculty members from across the country, the engaging deliberations, and the scholarly contributions of eminent resource persons truly made this FDP a meaningful and transformative academic experience. Commencement of the function. To formally start today's session, I invite Dr. C. Vairavan, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, G.Venkataswamy College, Coimbatore, to deliver the welcome address. So, over to you, sir. Iron sir. Sir, unmute your mic.
Thank you, sir. Respected Chief Guest, distinguished resource person, esteemed patron, dear faculty members and participants. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the fifth and final day of the national level 5-day faculty development program on Indian Knowledge System for Transformative Research. This program is jointly organized by the Research and Development Cell, Department of Computer Science, Institution Innovation Council, and the Journal of Inventive and Scientific Research Studies of G.Venkataswamy College, Autonomous, Coimbatore, in collaboration with ACT Academy, India. Over the past 4 days, this program has provided valuable insights into the foundation and application of Indian knowledge system. The active participation and discussion have made this FTP highly meaningful and enriching. Today's session focuses on Indian knowledge system for transformative research, innovation, and global impact. We are honored to have Dr. K.P. Nachimuthu, Assistant Professor, PhD, College of Arts Science, Coimbatore, as the resource person for the day. We warmly welcome you, sir, and look forward to your expert deliberation. I sincerely thank the management, principal, director, sir, organizing committee, resource person, and all the participants for their dedicated support and cooperation in making this FTP grand success. I once again welcome you all and wish the final day session every success. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, sir. And it's a moment of reflection, appreciation, and academic closure. I invite Dr. B. Umadevi, a principal, control of examination, associate professor and head, Department of Chemistry, G.Venkataswamy College, to deliver the valedictory address. Uma ma'am, over to you, ma'am. Ma'am, please unmute your mic, madam. Ma'am, mic unmute பண்ணாம இருக்கு. Ma'am, please unmute your mic, madam. Madam, actually you have to unmute your mic, madam. So mic it is muted. Mic on பண்ணணும் madam. Shall we proceed with, sir? So due to technical issues, ma'am could not join us, and ma'am will join. Once she joined, we will call her again. And it's time
Sir,
to.
Sir, 1 minute. Wait
Yes,
for 1 minute.
And due to technical glitches, ma'am could not join us, and we proceed with the agenda. I invite Dr. B. Magesh Kumar, Director, SFC Campus, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Botany, G.Venkataswamy College, to share his valuable ideas with us today.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Respected resource person, esteemed principal, madam, distinguished faculty members, and my dear participants, good afternoon to one and all. As we come to the validity of this 5-day faculty development program, I feel a deep sense of satisfaction in addressing this gathering. Over the past 4 days, this program has provided a valuable platform for academic enrichment, professional reflection, and meaningful interaction among faculty members. Our college, G.Venkataswamy College, Autonomous, stands today on the strong foundation of 60 years of dedicated service to higher education, established with a vision to make quality education accessible to rural and first-generation learners. Our institution has grown steadily while remaining committed to academic excellence, discipline, inclusiveness, and social responsibility. As we celebrate our Diamond Jubilee, this milestone remains as not only of our achievements, but also of our responsibility to future generation. So over the past 6 decades, our college has produced thousands of alumni who are contributing meaningfully to society as academicians, administrators, entrepreneurs, professionals, and responsible citizens. Many of them continue to support the institution through mentorship, academic collaboration, and students' guidance, reinforcing the strong bond between the college, its alumni, and the community. So at our college, students' development remains the central focus of all initiatives. Beyond the classroom learning, we emphasize holistic growth through skill development programs, internships, industry collaboration, research exposure, and entrepreneurship initiatives through the IAC, that is the Institution Innovation Council, mentoring system, career guidance, and placement support. Special attention is given to empowering women students and the first generation learners to become confident, employable, and socially responsible individuals. As an autonomous institution and also re-accredited with an A grade by NAC, we continuously strive to enhance the quality of teaching and learning through outcome-based education, innovative pedagogy, and effective assessment practices. In this journey, faculty development plays a crucial role. So programs like this FDP help faculty members update their knowledge, adapt to modern teaching strategies, and align academic practices with the evolving needs of students and the society. I sincerely thank all the resource persons for sharing their expertise and the organizing committee for their dedicated efforts in successfully conducting this program. I also appreciate the active participants and the commitment shown by all faculty members over these 5 days. As we move forward, our focus will remain on interdisciplinary learning, digital transformation, research culture, and continuous faculty upskilling to prepare our students for a rapidly changing world. So with these words, I conclude my valedictory address and wish you all continued success in your academic endeavors. Thank you and wish you all the best. Thank you for this opportunity, sir. Over to you.
So thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your encouraging words. And it is now my privilege to introduce our distinguished resource person for the final day. And I invite Dr. S. Sugandhi, Deputy Controller of Examination and Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, G.Venkataswamy College, to present the Chief Guest introduction. I'm over to you, ma'am. Ma'am, unmute. Ma'am, please unmute.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Sandhya M is an assistant professor in the Department of Psychology at PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore, with 6 years of teaching experience. Her area of expertise include Indian psychology, research methodology, biological psychology, health psychology, and developmental psychopathology, with the extensive teaching experience in Indian psychology. She holds in BSc in Psychology and an MSc in Applied Psychology from PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. Has submitted her PhD thesis and is set and net qualified. She has attended various national and international conferences and has published research papers in reputed journals. Welcome, ma'am. I would like to thank all the organizers and also the participants to give me the wonderful opportunity to introduce such an eminent personality in this FDP. Welcome, ma'am.
And as we had 4 beautiful enriching sessions for the past 4 days, and today we believe that today's session will be one of the best sessions. And we now move on to the day 5 session of the FDP. I take great pleasure in inviting Ms. Sandhya M, Assistant Professor, Department of Psychology, PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore, to deliver the technical session of this FDP. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am and sir, for introducing me. Can you please confirm, sir, that I'm audible enough?
Yes, ma'am, it's
Yes,
clear, ma'am.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Good evening, respected principal, ma'am, dignitaries of G.Venkataswamy College, management faculties, and the faculty members. So I'm Sandhya M. So I'll be presenting on IKS for transformative research innovation and global impact for today. Yeah, let me share my screen.
Sandhya, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sharing the screen.
Yes.
As I hope my screen is visible. Due to the network issue, I will just go on and off the video. Please bear with me. And also, if there is any other issues with the microphone, please do let me know so that I can look after it. Right. So the today's topic is on Indian knowledge system for transformative research, innovation, and global impact. So I've planned it in a way that I'll give a little bit of introduction about the IKs. I'm sure you all had a wonderful session previously about it. So I'll just give a little bit of a quick recap about what IKS is, and then we'll talk about all the multi-dimensional integration across different fields where IKS is used in different fields, like how this knowledge system is applied across different fields for research and innovation. Right. So we start with what this foundational concept is, where this IK is built on. So we know that it is built on this Jnana, Vigyan, and Jivan Darshan. So it is the Jnana is the knowledge. So it is the study of reality. What is the ultimate truth what is the nature of consciousness, and all those things is what knowledge Vignan talks about. And Vignan is the science. So Vignan talks about all the empirical inquiry, all the scientific inquiry into the material world. And it has got, say, different areas. It includes chemistry, otherwise called rasayana or metallurgy or surgery, and like a lot, endless scientific knowledge that is available in IKS. So it includes all the applied science. So Jnana is considered to be the foundational wisdom. It is the foundational wisdom which talks about the reality. What is the reality? What is the nature of consciousness and all that? And Jivan Darshan is like the ultimate underlying source of everything. It is the life philosophy. It is the ethical principles that drives everything, that serves as the welfare for everything. It is the underlying principle that takes everything forward. And this IKS is often referred to as a living laboratory. Like, I'm not sure, like they don't technically call it as a living laboratory, but in a way, when people are talking about what IKS is, they generally say it is like a living laboratory because it is very dynamic. And all the ongoing traditions that we have in our Indian knowledge system, so all these ongoing traditions embody all the ancient wisdom that is there, and it is there in everyday practice. So due to the dynamic nature, it is qualified as living because it is something that mainly remains actively, like it is actively transmitted through teaching, through like teacher or a disciple or like a guru or shishya, or all of these teachings that are there in IKS is something that can be integrated into everyday life. It can be integrated into modern life. See, unlike other artifacts, right? So when people talk about Indian knowledge system, they always associate it with something that is very old, that is very ancient. But yes, on those things are very resourceful, they are very valuable, and all those concepts can be integrated into modern life. So that is why they call it as something that is living. And living laboratory is a way that people tend to get it across for more easier understanding, no? Because it is actively present in everyday life, and it can be integrated into everyday life. And what is the basic methodology that is used here? So one of the challenges that happens when we try to do researches in IKS, all this Indian knowledges that we have, is that mostly they say all this concepts that are discussed in Indian knowledge system as something that is unscientific. You know, whenever we talk about consciousness, or whenever we talk about liberation, or whenever we talk about dharma or whatever concepts, so they consider it as something purely experiential. But apart from that, we have like various other applied sciences also there. Apart from the experiential knowledge it provides, other applied science and technology that is also discussed in the system. Again, this is something that that actually has this base of methodology, which otherwise we call it as pramanas. So which is the valid means through which we acquire the knowledge. So obviously it is your pratyaksha, anumana, or sabda, through observation, the knowledge that we get through the direct experience. It can be like through anything, like through the senses that we get, whatever that is around us, we tend to observe the information and try to make meaning out of it, try to understand it. So it is applied in other areas. So one of the observation is that in Shushruta surgical training, so before going on to any technical procedures, so it is advised that you have to observe the person, like before giving a proper this is what the diagnosis or this is the surgery that you'll have to do, before telling all that, before actually performing all the technical thing. So it is said that they'll have to observe the patient as to how they look, what is the skin color, how are they talking, what is the voice, and how are they moving, how is the movement, is it like slow, or is it very like agitated, so like that. So observation is like the basic knowledge we get, like before going into logical deduction. Like basically observation provides you the basic knowledge. From that we infer, we logically try to understand, right? We through logical deduction we try to understand, and we verify through the shabda, through testimony. It's more like peer reviewed thing and all, like through by asking the masters or somebody who is very experienced. So we tend to ask people like in generally about whether whatever the knowledge that we have gained is right or not, or to confirm whether whatever we understood is right or wrong. So all of this is something that breaks the myth that it is something unscientific, because this approach is something that has a step. You observe, you infer, and you verify whatever you've inferred is right or wrong. So this is something that provides a complete methodology. So it is not very unscientific. It is a very scientific methodology through which we learn all the systems. And moving on, yeah, from what are the intellectual lineage all this it comes from. So it starts, what are the fundamental foundations or the foundational bedrock of this IKS is the Vedas, the Upanishads, or the Bhagavad Gitas and Tirukkural and everything. All the informations that are there, the extensive informations that are there in these foundations is what makes IKS what it is. And Vedas obviously talks about the universe. It talks about understanding the universe, like how it operates in a fundamental, with the fundamental law, because universe or the cosmos has a way of operating. It is not chaotic. It is very it has a principle, it has a law, it has a physical and a moral law based on which it operates. It follows a predictable physical and moral law through which it operates, which is what they call it as a cosmic order. So Vedas like Rig Veda, Yajur, Sama, all of these Vedas talks about consciousness. They talks about ritualistic practices. They talks about a lot of things that can be used in modern practices as well. And obviously Upanishads. Upanishads talks a lot about all this consciousness and all that. So it is otherwise called as an inward science. They explore the consciousness, which is the ultimate destiny, which is the ultimate aim for human life, to be one with the Brahman or to be one with the consciousness. Right? So it is called as an inward science. They explore the consciousness and the interconnectedness between this individual self, this Atman, and the universal reality or the universal consciousness or the cosmic consciousness that we talk about as Brahman. So it is something that focuses on understanding the consciousness. So there is an individual consciousness, there is universal consciousness, and it is trying to, help people understand and explore the interconnectedness of it. And like apart from this, like one of the thing that we can add is the Tirukkural, and we know it is something that can act as a like a guide for a living, like how people should live ethically, morally, how they should conduct others or guests, or how they should live or how they should love. So it kind of gives us information about all of those things. So these are some of the foundations, and we have a lot of scriptures, we have a lot of literatures that contribute, like apart from this, all the scientific knowledge that we talk about, like Ayurveda and all that, contributes to the intellectual lineage and the foundational bedrock of the Indian knowledge system. Yeah. Now moving on to the microsome and macrosome mirror. So this is where we talk about the holistic approach that IKS takes, like in terms of research or in terms of understanding like what is happening within an individual and like out of the environment and the connection, how they affect each other and all that, right? So this IKS is it says this microsome is something that is like an individual system, right? And the macrosome is the external or the environment, like if you have to put it very simply. So they say like whatever is in the universe is in the body. So both the microsome and macrosome are interconnected to an extent. say all this Pancha Mahabhutas that we talk about, this air, fire, water, ether. So all of these forms the basic systems of a human, and it forms the whole universe, it forms the earth. And both are made up of the same constitute. Like if you talk about the human constitution or Prakriti, right? So according to Tridosha, we have this Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and all that. And they say this human being is formed with the combination of this Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and all that. And they have to have a proper balance of that doshas. And imbalance in those doshas is something that can make people vulnerable for diseases and all that. And again, the every element that are there in the universe is again made up of this Pancha Mahabhuta. So both are made up of the same elements, both the Pancha Mahabhutas, because all these the doshas are like combinations of this Pancha Mahabhutas, like Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and all, like air and water, like fire and the marriage. So it is all very a combination of that forms the human constitution or Prakriti. And and Dharma. So again, in terms of talking about how Dharma drives an individual system and the environment as well, like system that is outside of an individual as well. Again, here we can bring in the concept of Purusharthas and how it talks about, which is the ultimate aim of human life, is to attain the liberation that is attained through like 4 different levels. Again, this Dharma is what is considered to be the underlying principle for an ethical life, right? Be it Artha or be it moksha, all of these things are something that should be attained in a righteous way, in an ethical way. So that is what Dharma says. So whatever we do, like whatever the system talks about, whatever the innovation or research that we talk about, like the underlying principle here is that the Dharma is what takes the life forward. So that is a way of ethical living. So even in terms of talking about the research and all that, the Dharma forms the underlying principle, because so we cannot do a research or innovation for the profit of it, for the sake of it, but then it is to bring, say, for the universal welfare, because it is something that should benefit everybody. It shouldn't harm anybody. So it is something that should be useful. It should bring in that welfareness. It has to bring people together, and it should be like very welfare oriented. And that happens only when people do it in a righteous way, when they do it in a ethical way. So this Dharma forms the underlying basis for everything. But again, they talk about the interconnected system of the individual and the environment. So however, even when the individual act on the environment, again, that also should be in a very dharmic way. Right. Now, how this, how this is like a holistic approach, how this knowledge is relational and not, it is not fragmented. Say the whole, in terms of talking about Indian knowledge system, it has a very holistic view. So it doesn't compartmentalize information, it doesn't compartmentalize system. It is all something that exists together. So there is no separation. Let's say here, if you take example, if you talk about health, so when we consider what health is, so health is a balance between what body, mind, and society and nature, or in other ways, what other medicines use is the balance between body, mind, and the society, which is like biopsychosocial model that is used for considering like balance between all those 3 things are considered to be a health. That is how they defined it. It is not like an absence of disease. So when we are saying absence of disease is health, again, you're compartmentalizing, you're putting it separately, you're reducing the very definition of what health is, but it is not, right? So health is something which is a balance between body, mind, and the like a society, right? If you're not feeling well in your body, again, that affects the psyche, and you will not, behave in a very good way. You may behave in a very, say, irritated way. Again, how these three things are interconnected. So it is interdependent. So similarly, here IK says that, all the information that it talks about, like you'll be able to see from the different examples that I'm going to give, like all of the things are very interdependent on each other, and it is not a very separate information. It doesn't compartmentalizes information. How, say, in case of talking about astronomy and all, how say this Panchanga and all, they look into that in order to understand the seasons and the timings and all that, so that can help with the agriculture or plantation or harvest and all that. So not one thing is something that informs the other. So knowledge is something that is very relational. It is not fragmented. It's not very reduced to one particular thing. It is very much interrelated and interconnected. Right. So this holistic integration and systems thinking, right? Yeah. So knowledge as a lived experience. So all this interconnectedness that we talk about. Again, like after that, when we talk about what this IKS gives us, say, apart from the knowledge, apart from understanding it from a holistic perspective, whatever wisdom that we acquire from all this ancient system is something that should be put into practice as well. Like in case of talking about yoga, we learn about all this Patanjali Yoga Sutra. It talks about Ashtanga Yoga, all the steps and all that. Again, that knowledge itself is not enough. I'll say in terms of talking about how, say another example, if we talk about preserving all the environment, so only the knowledge alone is not important. Like knowledge is important, but then putting it into practice. Like in this case, if we talk about how yoga and the Yoga Sutra talks about all this different steps in Ashtanga Yoga and all, knowing that is important, but then putting it into practice is also important. Like practice over theory. Say only then it is, people tend to attain the liberation. Like wisdom, yes. So knowledge is considered here as incomplete. Like knowing is better, but then putting it into practice is, is considered like very much. It is higher. So it is like, very, very, very better kind. So it is like whenever, like when you're not putting a knowledge into practice, so the knowledge that we acquired is something that is very incomplete, right? So here the whole point is to transform all this knowledge over practice. So that is where we talk about how transforming all the knowledge of this IKS system or the ancient wisdom into practice. Like how we are going to make it as a research, how we are going to make that research into practice. So that is why sadhana or the practice is very much important. As much as theory is important, like the practice is also equally important here. Right. So why this matters, right? So why this worldview of IKS matters? So why are we doing this? Why are we giving more importance to this research in IKS now? Now, in say there can be a problem of fragmentation. Say modernity can face problems, like there can be crisis of fragmentation. But then, say we have a very great technology, but at the same time we have a very dying planet. We have a very high-speed internet, but then there is the compromise in mental health. We have a mental health epidemic, right? So what this IKS offers as a whole system solution, as a holistic approach, which aims at transforming all the knowledge into practice through research and innovation, right? So it offers, like, instead of like say treating the symptoms, right? So we try to treat the ecosystem. We try to treat the whole ecosystem, by bringing all this holistic health. Say instead of say for example taking from nature, we participate in the cycles of nature, right? Or instead of information, we seek integration, right? So this is what the world view why IKS matters today. See, apart from talking about how how important it is to bring in the whole system of knowledge into practice and research. So apart from that, it is important. Sorry. So apart from that, it is a very it is important to treat this as something like a scientific framework rather than like a historical relic, because the informations in IKS has is a system in itself. It's a very sophisticated system in itself that is capable of solving all the contemporary issues. So since there are all these issues that we have, like the climate change or the mental health epidemic, though we are so advanced in technology, we are going backwards in all the things that really matter. All this, again, growth is something, say, affecting the environment or the ecosystem and all. So there's one way we're all going up, but then in the other way, it is having a negative effect. So we have to find a solution as to how all of this can be addressed by using IKS. So that can only be done when we see it as not as a historical relic, but it is something which is a very sophisticated scientific framework, and that can be applied into finding solution for contemporary issues. Right. So I'll just bring in few multidimensional integration from different areas. What are the current researches that are going on, and what are the areas of researches that can be explored by using the Indian knowledge system and all that. So I'll touch upon maths, AI, environment, climate change, agriculture, and a little bit of psychology, since I'm from the discipline. We'll talk about how astronomy is also contributing, and some of the important researches that are going in very reputed institution now. So we'll talk about all of that. So I'll give you some of the areas and the concepts from the IKS which are used to make researches and all that. And the first is the mathematics and astronomy and all that, and the geometry and all that. Now this whole advanced geometry is something that is originated from this concept of Shulba Sutra, right? So this is something which is considered as a mathematical rule. So it is used to construct all these altars, say build temples and all that. So all this mathematical tools, all this mathematical knowledge, it is considered as an advanced geometry which is used in building all these Vedic altars and all. Right, so this Vedic altars or the temples. So in other words, so these are something which are not just the ritual side. It is not just the sacred place, but it also is something that contains this cosmic energy because of the way it is built by using all this mathematical knowledge that is there in the Shulva Sutras again. And there is an interconnection between these as well. Say if we talk about astronomy in IKS, so this astronomy, or which otherwise we call it as Jyotishtha, it is something which is which relies on this mathematical knowledge that is available, right? So they calculate all the planetary motions, they calculate all the eclipses, right? So it is again, this astronomy is also something that plays a very important role here. And again, in terms of talking about environment, astronomy and environment and all, right? There is a holistic application here as well. So when we say this Panchanga and all, we have this ancient Indian calendars. So like, basically we use it to, find all this time, all this good time and bad time, and which is the auspicious time and all. So it is not just a timekeeping manual, but then it is something that can serve as a manual. It can serve as an ecological manual. Say they track all this solar and lunar cycles and all. So through which we try and identify all the nakshatras or tithis or Sankranti or whatever. But it is all of this are something that helps us to predict like seasons. It helps people to predict monsoons, and it helps people to predict the weather. And all of this is for survival. And even all the like the Vedic texts like Rig Veda, they put an emphasis that the importance on the harmony between the sky and the earth. So all this astronomy that we talk about, all this planetary motion of the celestial bodies and all that we talk about, it is used in tracking all of these things. So people know, again, it helps with the agriculture. So people know like when to sow, when to harvest and all that, right? So these ancient Indian calendars are something that can help understand all of it. And again, in terms of talking about engineering and all, say architecture, again, say if we remember this temple, this Konark Sun Temple, or what is the other one? Modhera Sun Temple and all that. So they are all built in a very way with a certain geometric precision where it aligns with the solstices and equinoxes and all that. So these temples, again, they are built in a certain way, like with all this step wells and with all this gopurams and all that. So these are something that is used to optimize the light and all this astronomical science, use of astronomical science helps them to, build it in a way with a geometric precision which aligns with all the solstices and equinoxes and all that. So again, architecture is also again an important part of again, it's an important part of our Indian knowledge system, again, that contributes to a lot. Again, in terms of talking about how ethics can also play an important role in environment, all this ethics that we talk about in IKS. So this is, like I told before, it is something that is grounded in the dharma, the duty or the order, or in the righteousness and all that. Again, this extends those kind of responsibilities to not just to oneself, but also to the entire world. So it makes the life very participatory, right? So like it is about like how say initially all this anthropocentric view, they talk about how resources can be like conquered. Like, if there is a resource, like you'll have to like, take it, you'll have to take it, like make it or do something with it and all that. But then this IKS views this environment as a living continuum, right? So say even all these ethical principles are applied in saving the environment. So they say it is like, stewardship before over consumption, right? Like say the concept of ahimsa can be used here, like how all this non-violence can be translated into the preservation of the ecosystem, the ecological preservation and all that. Say like, like not like cutting a trees, right? So it is a way of it is a dharma. If you're like, harming the trees, again, it is a ahimsa. It is a violence, right? So sorry, yeah. So if you're cutting a tree, again, that is considered as a violence. And then if you're, if you're protecting it, again, it is considered as a non-violence, right? So you're protecting something, right? So it is a dharma, right? So again, if you're trying to consume it by trying to conquer the resources, all the natural resources, you're harming it. Right? So again, that is a violence. So you can use all this concepts of ahimsa and all that in in the protecting environment and all that, right? So, or we can have this sacred groves and all. There is something called like in terms of like protecting the environment and forest and all. They have like in other ways we have this Kovil Kadugal அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So it is more like you have a particular sacred forest where people have like certain, like they have this place for this, but for the devote, like they pray for a particular deity in that particular forest. Again, that is not alone as a spiritual place. And in other, in a very, like again in the interior area and all, they have found all the sacred groves or the forests where people consider it as very sacred, and they pray. They have little temples over there and all that, and they pray and they worship the forest and the god in it. Again, that is a way of bringing all the spiritual practice into saving the environment. Again, they also found like very different species of plants and trees in such sacred groves and all that. So again, this is more like a blend of spiritual like reverence and like a practical community engagement and all that. All this protected areas can bring in. And again, one of the innovation that came from this is that something called lifestyle for environment. So it is a movement where it is a ethical framework where it is to the whole concept is to replace the mindless consumption with a mindful environment. So it is like a global call to replace the mindless consumption to mindful utilization, right? Only use like whatever that is of absolute necessity, not to be like wasting things, like if you don't need something absolutely, don't use it or don't waste it. So mindfully utilizing the resources. So it is more to direct human behavior. It's considered as an innovation in human behavior for climate action. It is something that encourages adapting eco-friendly practices, such as reducing waste or saving energy or avoiding single-use plastic. So this is one of the movement, I think. So it is called as LIFE, L-I and capital F-E. So it is lifestyle for environment. And that is one of the innovation that came out of trying to save the environment, the degradation of environment and all that. And apart from that, yeah, we talked about astronomy, we talked about architecture, and yeah, this all this again, we talked about how dharma and environment is combined, like how ahimsa can save forests, the environment and all that. And one of the movement that came out of is the lifestyle for environment. And like moving on from that, we have that, yeah, sorry, yeah, AI and algorithms and all that. So this AI, again, we can bring in concepts like karma, satya and dharma here and all, right? Since due to all this technological advancement and all that, like there are a lot of like as much as useful it is, as much as it is something that makes things very easier. It is very functional and make things very faster and all that, makes the work easier and functional and all that is there. Again, there is also again other side to it as well, right? It is something how much resources it use in terms of talking about environment. The more like all this AI functioning that we use, like ChatGPT or AI Studio or whatever, so they consume a lot of energy again. And also in terms of talking about ethics here, like karma, satya and all that, say a lot of informational threats and all the cybersecurity risks are there. And how much truthful all this AI integration is, like because AI is integrated into everything. So how much truthful it is, how much it is looking as it is. Like even there are sometimes like all these AI features, they tend to steal all the informations of people. And though it is doing one function in the background, again, those informations that we are giving into all these AI systems. So if we're talking about a very familiar AI models that we use, like ChatGPT model or this AI studio or anything. So whatever information that we're putting into it is something that is used to train it. So how much truthful or transparency it is shown to you, how much it is actually given to you. Not everything is given in that a disclaimer or whatever that is put, all the terms and conditions. So are they following the same thing? Like we don't know how much truth and transparency that is there, like how much satya that is there, and how much fairness that is there, like the dharma, or like is it doing what it is actually doing or saying, and how much accountability, right? So karma talks about the action and the accountability that people take, and how much accountability that is there, right? Even if we talk about all the cyber risks and all that, right? People steal information, they steal money through all this technological advancements, and how much they are coming forward to become accountable for whatever they are doing, right? So that is there, right? So ethical uses and the ethical use of AI, and how we can use all these concepts of accountability or karma or the truthfulness or transparency or satya or the dharma, the justice or fairness again. So all of these systems can be used to to improve all the AI models and all that. And yeah, so we have apart from that, yeah, here the one that you're seeing on the screen about the algorithms, Panini's Ashtadhyayani, right? Sorry, that is actually one of the I think it's a programming language or something. So that is kind of is equivalent to one of the other language model that is there. They have found some similarities between the language models and all that. So again, all this algorithm, which is again equivalent to all this Panini's algorithm from way back. So it is like we already have had all this information, right? So we've always learned about it, but we have never put it into practice or research, and we never tried to do, say, innovations with it. And that is why it matters that we put all the IKS knowledge or the entire wisdom into practice, because it shows the originality, right? So we do take concepts from different areas and we incorporate into our discipline, and we try to do research and all that. And apart from that, we do have all the informations which can be used to make all this contemporary researches as well. So if you take one of my field, say like I'm from psychology, say there is also like we are like very much big on all this personality, and also I think it is a concept that everybody can relate to. So again, we have this thing called trigunas. I think you might know of this Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva and all. So there's like, we try to understand the personality through these gunas. Again, we are having the same, all this Western psychological ideas there. Again, we are trying to, compare it with all the gunas that we talk about, and all this Gita that talks about all this gunas and all that. So again, that is how we integrate, try and integrate whatever the existing knowledge is with all the ancient wisdom and all that. And yeah, in terms of talking about, like moving on to sustainable engineering and all that. Yeah, so I think I told you about all the sustainable engineering, like how this Vastu principles help build all this green building and all that. Like you can take an example of Konark and all that. And again, building like according to all this Vastus can be like people have all this like basic sentiments again that is related with all this cosmic energy and all that. So all these Vastu principles, they in other ways they basically organize quite a natural airflow. They bring in like say a thermal balance. If there are like some houses which have which will be always heat, like no matter what, or some houses which will be like very dark because there won't be proper light will be there, or the airflow won't be there. Again, that is something that affects the health also, right? So the sustainable engineering, so they can take inspiration from all this Vastu principles and all that to to build like better or optimize the natural airflow, or bring in a proper thermal balance and all that, so that people use less ACs and lights and all that, so that we can reduce all the carbon footprints and all that. And one of the findings for this corrosion resistant metallurgy that you're seeing here, see, one of the findings here was that there's this what is that? There is a pillar. There is a Delhi iron pillar is there. So that pillar is around, say, I think it is 1,600 years old, and it is still rust free. And one of the researchers from like IIT Kanpur, he found out that like generally people understood it as something because of the purity of the metal, it is not corroding. But then through research, he found that it has got a coating called the Mr. White. Okay, so it is like oxyhydroxide, some chemical compound like called an iron oxyhydroxide. They call it as a Mr. White. Mr. White, it's a Mr. White phosphate film. So that phosphate film is something that is separating the metal from it's like a coating or like a lining that's separating the metal from the environment. So it is not letting the atmosphere affected. And considering, how the atmosphere of Delhi is, it is not, they say it is not corroding or it is not rusting. And he found out like from this IIT Kanpur, I think, yeah, IIT Kanpur. So he found out that is because of that lining. Again, that is a metallurgy. So that is, again, it is a like 1,600 years old, like 1,600 years old. But again, they are, taking people back to school on this chemistry and all of it. Again, that kind of knowledge can be understood and can be integrated into building materials now, this corrosion resistant materials now. So again, all of this ancient knowledge that people say can be used into contemporary problems as well. And again, this is something that talks about like moving on from all the AI and the maths and the engineering and all. So we have like only like few topics. I think it's 7. I will try to cover it like quickly. Yeah, all this health sciences. What are the researches that are done, and what are the possible areas of research in health sciences and all? Right. Again, so we all know this Prakriti, all this doshas that I talked about earlier. Again, this is something that is used in Ayurveda in order to identify where the problem is. They try to detect like where is the imbalance, whether it is in Vata, Pitta or Kapha, and accordingly they personalize the treatment. Again, it is basically this Ayurveda is something that is treating the entire individual ecosystem. And this Ayurgenomics, the word that you're seeing on the screen, is one of the interdisciplinary fields. So it is combining both the traditional Ayurvedic concept and the genomics, right? So to develop very personalized medicine and all that, right? So again, this is something like, again, they're combining all this doshas to map an individual's specific genetic makeup and all that. And also in terms of network pharmacology and all, like Ayurveda have like different concoctions and herbal formulations. Again, I think Triphala and other herbal concoctions and rasayanas are there. So again, these are something that can target all this multiple biological problems at the same time. Again, that is also there. And again, yoga is like the whole whole different thing. It's such a very vast area, and yeah, but then I'll try to cover it. And this yoga is something like beyond physical posture. Like when people talk about yoga, they always talk about asanas, right? Again, like physical posture, and it is something beyond the physical posture. No, it is something that examines how this asanas, the postures, and it has this pranayama, the breath control, and the dhyana, the meditation. How all of these three together impact the brain chemistry, how it impacts the cognitive functioning of people. And there are like different researches are also being done on pranayama also. So pranayama is like it is helps with the like one of the research said helps with the modulation of vagus nerve. Right? This vagus nerve is like in the modulation of this vagus nerve is helps with regulating the autonomic nervous system, this ANS, right? So when people are, it helps people become calm during all the stress and anxiety and all that again. So this yoga, I know as simply some of the people like generally try to like misinterpret with only the posture, but apart from that, it brings the calmness to the mind. It elevates the fluctuations of mind and the distractions of mind and all that. And obviously bringing in all this yoga sutras or the Ashtanga yoga principle and all that, how it starts from all this yama and niyama and all, it kind of goes till samadhi and all that, how the ethical principle and the self-discipline contributes to the mental modifications, and how eventually like when you come down towards this dharana, dhyana and all sort of something that helps people connect beyond all this physical entity, connect with your like individual consciousness, with the cosmic consciousness and all that. And like, yeah, so that is like a very vast area. Like apart from that, we have this one thing called Sanskrit effect. So it is, I think, yeah, it is a Sanskrit effect, so which is like Vedic chanting. What they call is vak, or the sound. Like when people are chanting the mantras or say the om and all that, how that Vedic chanting is influencing their, brain function. In some cases, how it is affecting or like improving their like the plasticity of the brain. So again, researches are also being done in all of this area in yoga as well. All this Ayurveda yoga, again, this is trying to like help people treat them like they treat like an individual, like individual as an entire ecosystem, and they try to treat them like physically, mentally and all that. Okay. Ma'am, how long do I have?
Another 5 minutes, ma'am.
5 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fine, ma'am.
Right. Right then. So far, we talked about all the innovations that are happening, like that, all the IKS knowledge that are integrated in different modern field and all that, and how that can be done. And like moving on to all the other global challenges. One of the major global challenge that we have is the climate, and then the water and all that. Yeah. So there are like currently, I'll just quote some of the researches that are done currently. Say there is, like I told you, the metallurgy thing, the Delhi iron pillar thing. So that is there. And apart from that, there is like this Panchagavya. There is like researches that are done in certain universities, which focuses on biofertilizers and all, right? So again, they do researches on a certain breed of cows. It's called as Panchagavya and all that. They do researches on cows to produce all these biofertilizers, so that can help with better growth of plants and all that. Again, this is also something they call that kind of call as a carbon neural forming and all that. Again, they are trying to do researches in like in crops as well. How there is one university called Tezpur University. So like currently, I think like they've been doing researches on millets, because millets are considered to be like a smart climate smart a crop basically, because they are very drought resistant. They don't need like that much water and all that, so they're very drought resistant and they are very nutritious and all that. So they were doing researches on resilient crop systems again. So this helps with the agriculture, and got the biofertilizers. And also I think it's from Athmia University, biofertilizer researches is from. And obviously coming to the water security and all that. So there are different systems that are used in like certain places, like Maharashtra uses all this FARD system, like diverting the canals to the agricultural place. And the Zabo system is used in areas like Nagaland, where I'm sure like you might have seen in certain pictures and all, where they have this hill station like cut out, where they have primary like a catchment system for the rainwater like on the hills. And there is also like something called johats, which are like a crescent shape cutout they do, so which kind of catch the water, but it is not only to store water, but then it is to percolate the water into the soil, so the soil absorbs the water as well, like more than to to collect the water. Apart from that, it kind of get absorbed into the soil as well. Again, all of this different water security system is also used. And again, this is all can also be used to revive the like farmlands, or even revive the rivers and all this FARD system and all that can be used to revive rivers and all that. And biodiversity, so like I told you before, it can be through sacred groves. But then like normally like people around us, we do have like a particular like a place, or like a forest like area where they have, which are very sacred, where people go to pray and all that. Again, those can be like a very protected area, and also again that brings in like community feeling as well. And yeah, so again we have like a lot of areas of research are also there, and I will just bring in like few of my areas, which is from psychology. Again, here they talk about all this Trigona theory, how personality mapping can be done with Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas and all that. Again, again, there's already the questionnaires and all existing, and also there is like one research which talks about mapping all this virtues in action from positive psychology and all that. All sorts of researches in psychology is also being done. And apart from Trigona theory, we do use like other like Tamil literatures are also being used, like obviously Tirukkural. So Tirukkural is again all the concepts of Tirukkural, like perseverance, like Okam, perseverance, or Aram, the moral ethics. Again, they do researches in that from the positive psychology area. And if you have to bring in some Tamil literatures, all the Sangam literatures like Aindinaigal, which talks about this Mullai, Marudam, Neidal, and all, like the mountain, the forest, the agriculture field, the coast, the desert, and all that. Again, this also talks about how it affects the because it's a whole environment, it's a whole ecosystem that is present, and the individual is living in it. How these areas affect people, like people who are living in the mountains, they have a certain characteristics, and people who are living in like a coastal area, they have a certain characteristics. Again, they can be very talk about very specific psychological state. And also they also talks about different phases of relationship also. Again, different researches can be done in both the areas, and particularly all this environment psychology, there is like a lot of researches are done in environment psychology recently, and one of the concept that's there like from the couple of years before is the nature deficit disorder and all that, and how people are and other concepts that are there we talk about is called solastalgia and all that, how people are get losing touch with the environment and how it is affecting them as a person, and how do they feel that they don't even from their own place they don't belong, they feel like they don't even belong to that place and all that, right? So all of these areas are also being researched. Yes, just give me a minute. So I'll just end with this field, psychology field as well. So there are like a lot of areas, and again, this whole IKS research can be very holistic as well, and because we can integrate like different, like I told you, this whole thing about environment. We can talk about how it is affecting the person, or we can talk about the Santakarna model and how we can talk about elevating the sense of I-ness or ahamkara. So like a lot of researches can be done in different areas. Like whatever that I've presented is very little, and I've brought only a couple of examples for each. And there are like a lot of examples, are there, a lot of concepts that are there. And it is like one of the count that says from the National Museum Reserve something, they say we have like around 5 million manuscripts or something. We have like enormous knowledge that is available, but just putting it into research is what we'll have to like do. And like I told you, there are like though we have like Western concepts are there, and we can integrate that using our like Indian concepts as well. So the integration can be done. And like finally, what I would like to say is that this whole research and innovation can only happen when we talk about like the Indian knowledge system as something as not going back to the past, but it is about taking the past to the future. So if we have that kind of attitude, and apart from that, it has also got a sophisticated system. It has got a dynamic system. It has got a framework to all the concepts that it is talking about. And we'll have to like tweak it a little bit, make it into a structure, and then integrate into the research and innovation. So just having this attitude about it is not like going back to the past, but you're bringing the past to the future. You're bringing all the ancient wisdom to contemporary practices to solve the contemporary issues, and that can show the originality, right? So that is what the whole research is about, like doing research in Indian knowledge system is about. Yes, and I know like the whole information can be extensive and it is a span across different fields, but I just wanted to bring in what are the researches that have already been done, or possibly that can be done, or continuing like already being done in different areas, so that like people can know like what are the researches that are actually going on, like how they can use all this IKS concept, like all this Indian knowledge into like contemporary research practices, and that how they can take like actions and implement it in everyday life and all that. So I've just brought in few examples, and yeah, and if it is too extensive, like I am sorry for that, but then I just wanted to show like what are the researches that are possible. So that is all. I'm just ending my presentation here. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes.
Ma'am, the insights shared today, we believe that it had added a great value to this FDP. And ma'am, uh,
Hello, may
and dear participants, it's open for discussion. If you have any questions, you can clarify with our guest, and even you can post questions in the chat box.
can I ask Dr. SS?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Sir.
Sandhya, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
This is Mahendran.
Oh,
So-
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir.
Yeah. Okay.
How are you, sir?
Do you involve very excellent, very informative, Sandhya?
Thank you,
Good.
sir. Thank you.
Very happy to listen to your presentation. And do you involve any IKS related projects or research projects now?
Sir, currently I'm like planning on doing one. I've just submitted my thesis recently, so I'm just working on the proposals.
Okay.
Since I've been like taking all this Indian psychology for like few years, like, and I'm just going through all this recent researches that are being done, and I'm just planning to do one project this upcoming, sir.
Yes. This IKS is there for the past more than 10 years.
Yes.
Is there any specific research methodology book or guidelines to help the researchers to get into this research?
Sir, all of the research methodology depends on what the research question is, like what they want to do. Like mostly here we tend to go for like morely analytical concepts. Like we are already taking the existing ancient knowledge, like the whole wisdom aspects, and trying to like compare with like whatever that is already existing. And recently, one of the researches that was done in the department was about taking all the Tirukkural concepts, and they made it into like a therapeutic module which improves positive emotion. So it depends on what their research question. We can do like a qualitative analysis, quantitative, or we can even do tool development, like with the Triguna or even Tridosha. They can try to detect what the like issue is. So it depends on the research question. So regarding the material, there's like it's like there's no one book to it. So it is like very vast and extensive. And generally, when we talk about IKs, we talk about like we tend to learn from starting with the Vedas, and from there we go from the Upanishads, and then all this Bhagavad Gita, and then we even talk about Tirukkural and all the Tamil literature, Sangam literature, அதுல இருந்து இப்படி இன்கல்கேட் பண்ணி பண்ற மாதிரி. ஸோ நிறைய இடத்துல இருந்து கம்பைல் பண்ற மாதிரி.
Okay, ma. Thank you. Thank you,
Nice.
Sandhya.
Nice to talk to
Let
you, sir.
others ask, please. Yeah. Let others ask the questions. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Is there any questions?
Dear participants, it's open for discussion. Ma'am, from the psychological perspective,
Yes,
and how do IKS contribute to the individual or to the collective in the modern society, madam?
sir, say if we take for an individual perspective, நம்ம இது எல்லாருக்கும் தெரிஞ்ச அந்த குணாஸை எடுத்துக்கலாம் சார், இல்ல தோஷாஸை எடுத்துக்கலாம்.
Earlier people, they do have different perspective and they followed it, but in modern society it's not possible to implement IKS immediately, and they do have different opinion, and it differs from one to one. And how it is to bring that into collective form?
Collective form is to bring it into practice, sir, because like people always find it difficult to read the concepts like initially, or to understand the concept. Like they'll have to like bring it to a level where it is like equivalent to the like whatever they already know. So that is why we are like, say I'm comparing this gunas with the personality like in my field, so it is easy for people to understand. So they know like 5 personality types are there and 3 gunas, like equivalent to 3 gunas irukku. So idu or personality. So on the big 5 personality or personality. So they are able to connect like that. So அந்த மாதிரி equivalent ஆன ஒரு கான்செப்ட் கொண்டு வந்து நம்ம எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றப்போ it is they are able to learn and take in the concepts.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
I believe there's no question for the questions.
Yes, I think I took extra time. That is.
So if there is no question, we proceed with our agenda. And thank you
Yes.
once again, ma'am. And
Thank
I
you.
now respectfully invite Dr. B. Uma Devi, Controller of Examination and Principal in Charge, to share a few observations with us. Ma'am? From OT, ma'am. Uma Devi, madam.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Respected Secretary, sir, esteemed Director of Self-Financing Courses, distinguished resource person of today's FDP, Dr. SANDHYA M, Honorable Director of ACT Academy, dear coordinators of our institution's Innovation Council, R&D Cell, JISRS, dear faculty members and participants, good evening to one and all. It's my pleasure to share a few words at the conclusion of the program. Over the past 5 days, this faculty development program on Indian knowledge system for transformative research has been a truly enriching experience. The sessions offered valuable insights into Indian knowledge systems and their relevance to contemporary research and teaching practices. I am sure the discussions will continue to inspire us beyond these 5 days. I sincerely thank the resource persons for their engaging sessions, the organizing team for their excellent coordination, and the participants for their active and enthusiastic involvement throughout the faculty development program. And I should also mention a small technical issue that prevented me from connecting with you at the beginning. And for that, I offer my sincere apologies. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. With these words, I congratulate the organizers on the successful completion of this 5 days faculty development program and wish all the participants continued success in their academic and research pursuits. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. As we come to the end of this enriching program, it is time to express our gratitude to all those who contributed to its success. Honorable Secretary, sir, respected principal, esteemed resource person, faculty members, and dear participants. So, I deem it a great privilege to express our profound gratitude to the management of G.Venkataswamy College, Coimbatore, for their visionary leadership, constant encouragement, and continuous support in organizing this faculty development program. We extend our sincere and respectful thanks to the Secretary, Dr. P. Magendran sir, and the Principal Ma'am, Dr. M. Subbulakshmi Ma'am, of our esteemed institution for their guidance, motivation, continuous support in promoting academic excellence and research-oriented activities, and keen interest in the successful planning and execution of this 5-day FDP. We place on record to our heartful gratitude to our director, Dr. B. Mageshwar sir, for his invaluable academic leadership and encouragement. We also express our sincere appreciation and heartful thanks to all the resource persons who enriched this program with their scholarly expertise and valuable insights. So day one, Dr. S. Meena Priyadashini ma'am, Director of Women's Studies, Mother Teresa Women's University College, Tamil Nadu. And we thank her for an enlightening session on foundations of IKS, historical perspective, philosophy, and research methodologies. And on the day two, Dr. V. Ramakrishnan sir, Director Vivekananda Kendra, Kanyakumari, for his insightful deliberation on traditional IKS, traditional Indian science and sustainable technologies. And on the third day, Dr. V. Ranganayaki ma'am, the Department of Physics, Vaishnava College, Chennai, for her scholarly presentation on mathematics, astronomy, and engineering in Indian knowledge traditions. And on the fourth day, Dr. Uttara Dorairaj, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Physics, Vaishnava College, for her thought-provoking session on integrating Indian knowledge system with modern science and emerging technology. And also, we express our sincere appreciation to Ms. M. Sandhya, Assistant Professor, Department of Psychology, PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore, for her impactful and thought-provoking session on Indian knowledge system for transformative research, innovation, and global impact. So her session provided valuable insights into the applications of IKS in contemporary research and innovation ecosystem. She effectively highlighted the relevance of traditional knowledge framework in addressing modern societal challenges, fostering interdisciplinary research, and contributing to global academic and development perspectives. And I believe that that session encouraged participants to critically reflect on innovative research approaches rooted in in Indian traditional and their potential for transformative impact at both national and international level. So we are thankful to Dr. Saudami Menon, Director, ACT Academy, and Mrs. K. Deepika, Chief Operating Officer, ACT Academy, for their guidance, collaboration, and meaningful contribution to the success of this program. We extend our sincere thanks to the organizing committee, conveners, coordinators, and technical team for their meticulous planning, dedication, effort, and seamless contribution, which ensure the smooth conduct of all 5 days of the program. Our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation goes to all the participants for their enthusiastic participation, active engagement, and meaningful interactions, which significantly contributed to the success of this FDP. With this, we conclude the 5-day faculty development program, hoping that the knowledge gained and perspective shared will inspire continued academic growth, interdisciplinary research, and innovation. Once again, we thank you all who have directly or indirectly contributed to the successful completion of this program. Thank you so much, and we look forward to many more opportunities for collaboration in the future. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much.